Hello, YouTube. Sorry I've been away for so long. I decided to take some time off from creating content while I had family here visiting from overseas, and I'm still new to creating content on YouTube, so I don't really know how to properly go about scheduling a vacation. But I am back now, and it is good to see you. So let's talk about Pluto.tv. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar with what Pluto.tv is, it's another free ad-based streaming service similar to things like Tubi or Plex, with a bit more of a focus on live TV. I didn't have the best experience with Pluto TV, so I do have a bit of a rant incoming, but stick around till the end of the video if you want to hear how I truly feel about it. Those of you who just want to get straight to the movies, these are my top 5 horror movies on Pluto TV that I feel are worth your time, in no particular order. Before I Wake is a 2016 dark fantasy horror movie. It's about a family grieving from the loss of their son that decide to adopt a child whose dreams manifest into reality when he sleeps. It's a bit of a slow burn, but it's definitely got some nightmare fuel in it that's worth sticking around for till the end. It kind of reminded me of a mix of something along the lines of The Babadook and Nightmare on Elm Street combined. And I'm actually going to give this one my rating of 1 jump scare out of 0, because I rarely ever jump in horror movies anymore, but this one got me once, which is why it's here. If you're in the mood for something that's kind of spooky and creepy with a few jump scare moments along the way, then you should definitely check this one out. Just keep in mind that it does speak a lot on the grief of losing a loved one. Bug is a 2006 psychological thriller that is really hard to explain, but I'm going to do my best to try. It's about a girl staying in a crappy motel when her abusive ex gets out of jail, and she decides to let a man that she just met at the bar stay with her out of fear of her ex being around. But the man turns out to not be mentally well, and due to her past traumas, she ends up developing some sort of Stockholm syndrome with him, but he's not really abusive to her in any way. It's a really unique movie that is based on a play, which you can kind of tell with how things play out. It sort of reminded me of something along the lines of Stephen King's Misery in that sense. And it's pretty low budget, but not really in a bad way. I'm not sure if this would be considered a hidden gem or if it's just underrated, but it is really different, which is why it deserves to be on this list, even if you only ever watch it once. There was a lot more story to this than I was expecting there would be, and the acting is good. So if you're in the mood for something different, then you should definitely check this one out. Midsommar is another weird one, but it often gets brought up in a lot of modern horror movie social circles because it's a great example of this new wave of art house horror, or elevated horror, if that's what kids are calling it these days, which is currently causing the horror genre to go through a bit of a resurgence right now. As much as I see that changing here soon with the rise of Universal monster movie-inspired films making a bit of a comeback and art house horror producing more misses than hits this year, though this is one of the good ones from back in 2019. It's basically just a female version of Hostel. Just kidding, that's a joke for people who've actually seen it. And it's not that gory. It's actually got more flowers in it than it does gore. It's about a group of friends that go to another country to celebrate this summer solstice type festival, and it falls more into what I'd consider to be the folk horror genre than anything else. This new wave of art house horror can be pretty hit or miss sometimes, especially with me, but I enjoyed this one and think it's a great example of why sometimes it's important to have an unlikable protagonist, because if one of the main characters was any more likable, it would be a completely different movie. I can't say anything more than that, but it is worth a watch if you haven't seen it already. Even if it's just to get an idea of what this art house horror or elevated horror is for those who are unfamiliar with these modern terms. Triangle. I spoke about this one during my favorite physical media pickups of 2024 video, but just as a refresher, it's a psychological horror hidden gem from back in 2009 that a lot of people are very fond of for good reason. It's about a girl who goes on a boating trip with her friends that ends up crashing in the ocean, which results in them coming across a cruise ship that is mysteriously empty. It's really hard to talk about this one without any spoilers, but it is recommended by a lot of people for good reason. So if you haven't already seen this one yet, go watch it ASAP. It's in my top 5 favorite physical media pickups of the year so far. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. This movie is just fun. For those of you out there that just want a silly popcorn horror comedy to put on in the background and not take super seriously, this is a silly B movie from back in 2010, which I consider to be a bit of a golden age for B movies. Just the early 2010s in general released a lot of silly nonsense and stuff that just went straight to DVD, But this one has gathered a bit of a cult classic status over the years. It's kind of a satirical parody of the hillbilly redneck trope that's in a lot of horror movies, and it tells the story of a bunch of kids that get stuck in the woods with a couple of hillbilly rednecks that aren't actually evil, as much as the kids think that they are. And it plays out kind of like a romantic comedy. I really love how this movie comes together in the end. If you like movies with a bunch of silly deaths and haven't seen this one yet, you gotta check this one out. It's a fun time. I'm going to give this next one an honorable mention just because it's so close to Halloween and it's available in the United States if you can find a VPN that will actually work with Pluto.tv. Hellfest is a 2018 slasher that takes place during a Halloween carnival when one of its employees goes off on a killing spree. It's a fun movie full of lots of Halloween vibes that would be great to watch over the Halloween season. Lots of carnival rides and haunted maze type stuff that keeps you guessing on what's real and what's just supposed to be part of the ride. It's got a bit of gore, but not really a lot. The whole movie kind of feels like you're in a haunted house or on a haunted carnival ride with the way that it's directed. So if you're in the mood for something for this Halloween season, then this is definitely one that's worth a watch. So yeah, I did not have a good experience with Pluto TV. From the window you can't close in the bottom right-hand corner that is constantly streaming there while you're trying to find stuff to watch, to videos crashing while watching them and needing to try multiple browsers in order to get it to work, it was just not a good user-friendly experience for me. There was a lot of ads, depending on what I was watching, but it was like the better the movie, the more ads there would be, and after a while the same ads just kept playing over and over again, which got to be kind of annoying after a while. So, to be clear, I do not mind ad-based streaming services like Tubi and Plex, or even Amazon Prime or Netflix, as long as the ads are not intrusive. At the end of the day, even physical media has ads on them, and I like those ads. Same as going to the movies. I'd much rather sit through a few 5 to 15-second ads once in a while than 1 to 3 minutes or more of them like watching live TV. Plus, I get to support the things that I like that way. So I really don't mind ads. But I did feel Pluto's ads did get to be a bit much at times. Like, had I watched a bunch of stuff on there the same day, then it probably would have gotten less ads over time. But for someone who's just popping on to watch a few movies once in a while, the ads did feel intrusive. Not at the end of most movies, but during the first 2 acts in most cases. So I'd suggest if you're planning a movie night with Pluto TV, plan to do a double feature and save what you're most interested in for last. Or watch a bunch of stuff that's streaming until the ads ease up a bit after a while, because the ads are more built around people who binge watch TV shows than just go on to watch a few movies once in a while. I also couldn't get my VPN to work to see what was available in other countries because every time I tried to use my VPN, it just defaulted to Sweden, I think. So my collection of horror movies was limited to only what was available to me in Canada. This was originally supposed to be a top 10, but due to these limitations and Halloween just being around the corner, I figured it would be best to just narrow it down to a top 5 based off what I had available to me. They also don't have a like or dislike button for things that I watch, and I really don't like when streaming services do that because that means the only feedback that they get from us is based off what we watch, and we don't like everything we watch all of the time, even if we're willing to see it through to the end, which is then going to affect the quality of the feedback that they get from us, which then affects the quality of content we get from them. Use those likes and dislike buttons, people. They're important. Like, I think this is one of the biggest problems with streaming services today. So yeah, I didn't really feel that Pluto was trying to be as much of a video-on-demand streaming service, but more of an alternative to free live TV, which can be watched online instead. Which is totally cool. I'm all for that. It's so much better than trying to use an antenna to get a UHF channel off a CRT. And if you're not sure what you want to watch and you just want to turn something on to see what's on, Pluto's live streaming setup is actually great for that, but I'm just not one of those people. And for a streaming service that's been around since 2014 and has been streaming video on demand since 2017, it just felt like it was still in its infancy to me. Like there was a lot of these weird little bugs and glitches that should have been worked out and fixed long ago. To the point where I feel I should at least be open and honest with you about stuff to keep in mind if you're thinking about giving Pluto TV a chance for the first time like I did. It's probably just the unclosable live feed that was causing a lot of the problems that I was having when trying to watch it through a browser on my PC. But give us a like and dislike button. That's kind of an industry standard at this point. And That's going to be it for me. As usual, I will be leaving direct links in the description below to where you can watch these yourself. And if you're into B movies, cult classics, hidden gems, horror, or just in the mood for something different than what the mainstream media has to offer you, like and subscribe. And I will see you again in October with a new Tubi video. Happy Halloween.